The Hong Kong Macau Trophy is the feature race on a 10-race card this Saturday at Sha Tin. Here's what's coming up on this edition of HK Direct. And Romantic Touch and What Else But You will be flying the flag amongst 10 horses representing the home side. While my special guest in the studio, James Moore, saddles up 3 of the 4 Macau runners in the race. As mentioned, our special guest is James Moore. James, great to have you in the studio ahead of Saturday's race.
Thank you for having me here, Ed. It's great to be here.
You're obviously from the famous Moore family, the son of Gary, nephew of John. Were you always destined to have a career in racing?
Yeah, I've always wanted to be a trainer. Initially, I wanted to be a jockey, but because of the size of me, it just wasn't going to be.
You've now been training for a few years, taking over from your father, Gary, in Macau. How have you found the training game?
Yeah, it's been good. I'm very lucky to have a lot of good owners who support me, and they just want to have the winners and take the winning photo, and they always send in good horses into Macau and trust me fully. Even when they have permits for here in Hong Kong, they also look to me to buy the horses for them.
And as mentioned, obviously, Gary, John, who have you learnt from when coming through to be a trainer?
I always ask Uncle John for a lot of advice, same with Dad. Dad's always just a phone call away and he's always there to help. I did work for Dad for 2 years in Macau before going to England to further my studies.
And of course you're here for the Hong Kong Macau Trophy this season. 11 winners, you're training at about an 11% strike rate. Are you happy with the way things have gone so far this season in Macau?
Yeah, we've got some nice horses to work with and looking to the future. It's all going well. Yep. Okay,
well, let's have a look at what you've got coming up on Saturday. The $2.5 million Hong Kong Macau Trophy is the feature event. Field of 14 to line up over 1,400 metres. Here are the runners and riders. Joyful Trinity's a Group 3 winner over this course and distance back in 2016. He'll carry the top weight. Romantic Touch, third in this race last year. He's won the last 2 editions of the Macau Hong Kong Trophy. What Else But You has won his last 2. Super Fluke's a 5-time winner here in Hong Kong this season. Over the page to Magic Legend from the John Moore stable, and then James has got Kelowna Star, Mr. Kapu, and also Victory Megastar as he's 3 runners in the race of the 4 Macau runners in it. Let's go through them then one by one, James, looking at the touch screen here, and we'll start off in this race with Kelowna Star. We've seen him before, Macau Guineas winner, and also a horse who's done particularly well on the sand tracks in Macau. How do you feel his form is going into Saturday's race?
He's travelled a lot better this year because we utilised the hide suits, so he only dropped 5 pounds in comparison to about 15 to 20 pounds when he come last time. So he's done really well this time and looks healthy. The weather conditions may play into his hands, but I understand it. Friday and Saturday there will be no more rain, but if the track did happen to come up soft, then he'll appreciate that.
So certainly with his sand form, then a bit of give in the track would help his cause?
Yeah, correct, and his soft and heavy form in Macau, but I don't think we'll be getting that soft of a track.
He's obviously fairly versatile given that he's won a Macau Guineas on the turf, but yet he's also plenty of success on the sand track.
Yeah, that's correct. Also with distance, he's also versatile. 1400 might be a bit of a question mark, but that long straight will allow him to wind up into his action and hopefully be hitting the line well.
Tactically, gate 2, where do you think he'll settle?
He'll probably settle to the rear of the field in running, and then he'll just come out and hopefully have a last crack at them.
Let's have a look then at Mr. Kapu, and this is his most recent performance. He's an interesting horse. He's only had a couple of runs for you, but it didn't take you long to get him winning. Yeah,
he is a good horse. He was purchased by David Raphael as a yearling for 650,000 Australian at Easter. He's by Redoubts, and the 7 furlongs he should appreciate. Lewis got off him here and said he had still a little bit in hand. For him, the firmer the track, the better. Okay, from gate 11, does he come across and try to be up on the speed? From gate 11, we'll have no option but to push forward and probably try and lead, if not be there or thereabouts.
And with him as well too, his form in Macau looks to have been over 1,200 metres, but you're not concerned about the extra couple of hundred with him?
No, it is a question, but from what we've seen, it shouldn't be an issue.
Okay, we'll go back to Macau Hong Kong Trophy Day then and have a look at Victory Megastar, a horse who's been successfully for your stable. This is the Sand Classic Cup. He won the race the year before, endured a pretty wide transit coming to the turn in this race.
Yeah, same with him. The 7 furlongs he'll benefit from because he is a 1350 metre horse on the sand in Macau, and also that the sand base that you have here in Sha Tin, he'll appreciate. He loved the ground this morning when it was a little bit yielding when they did their final pieces of work. So very happy with him as well.
How do you line up your 3 then?
They all have their pros and cons to say. If the weather comes with more rain again, Kelowna Star will be right in it. If everything goes to plan, because he is a quirky horse. If it is firm, Mr. Kapow from that wide barrow would probably be the one on top. But like I said, they all have their pros and cons. Some of them, the distance is a question. And the barrier.
You've got 3 of the 4 Macau horses in the race. The other one is Chris Trump, who we saw ran second to Romantic Touch in the first leg of this series. What can you tell us about him?
Chris Trump's trained by Peter Lation. He does have a lot of ability and he's very, very versatile. He runs second in the Derby. He's put in some huge runs over 1,200 metres and he'll appreciate that long straight, same like Kelowna Star.
And then as far as the Hong Kong horses go, you obviously watch the racing over here very closely. Overall, what did you make of the race?
I think number 4, Who Else But You, is a very talented and upcoming horse. Number 1, like you said previously, he's a Group 3 winner of the trip. Magic Legend has placed in a Group 3 of the trip as well. Calculation also is a very talented and upcoming horse and he'll be right there up on the speed. Yeah, it is a very tough race this year.
Magic Legend's a horse you've had a bit to do with in the past too, so you've obviously been following his career here in Hong Kong pretty closely. Yeah,
I bought Magic Legend for one of my Macau owners, so he could have been over here carrying the Macau flag instead of the Hong Kong flag. We purchased him as a yearling from Magic Moons, so yeah, and then he qualified and the owner was lucky enough to get a 70+ permit.
Hasn't been easy for the Macau horses coming over to Hong Kong in this race. The last time it was won by a Macau horse was Viva Pronto back in 2010. We saw some wild celebrations from your father that day when he did win. If one of your 3 win, what sort of celebrations are we going to see from you?
I think I'll be a bit more composed. I think it would be a great honour to win the race. If any of them get up, it would be great. And there'll be drinks on me to any of the viewers at Royal Park.
Okay, I might come along as well for that.
Not a problem.
Were you there that day?
Yeah, I was one of the Marfus at the time for Viva Pronto with my brother Nicholas. So yeah, it was a great day.
Absolutely. Hopefully you'll be able to do it on Saturday. Thank you very much for coming on the show, James.
Thank you, Ed.
Thanks to James Moore, our special guest. Before we finish things up on this edition of HK Direct, we're racing on Saturday afternoon at Sha Tin. 10 races. The first is at 1 o'clock. Trackside live coverage starts at 12:30. The Hong Kong Macau Trophy is our feature race, which we've just previewed. It's at 4:35. Further information can be found on the website at hkjc.com or Twitter at hkjc_racing. That's it for this edition of the show. Join us at Sha Tin for Saturday afternoon racing, the Hong Kong Macau Trophy, our feature. We look forward to seeing you then. But until then, it's goodbye.